Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is the individual sittings playlist. This is, I'll make a number of these playlists. Greetings, brothers and sisters. So this is the individual sittings playlist. I'll tell you what an individual sitting is and what you need to receive one in a moment. But I just want to talk about this playlist first. So the first video will be this video that I'm presently making. It obviously hasn't been uploaded yet, so it's not on the playlist. So that'll be the first video here, and then this will be the second video, the third video, and the fourth video. And so to get started here, all you need to know about Sunday Gratefullness meditation video, which is on my other YouTube channel, is loaded with links here to Sajmark practice, talking about the cleaning, nighttime prayer meditation, universal prayer, some scholars, ebooks that you can read, Sajmark online bookstore, and everything that you need to know about Sajmark and doing these meditative sittings. And the literature, any of Babaji's books, his first 5 books, Reality at Dawn, being maybe the most important one to read first, and then Parthasarthi Rajagopalachari Charaji's book, My Master About Babaji. And so that'll be very helpful in terms of understand what's going on here. And so I have this video that's public now when I'm making the current video I'm making as of June 21st. Next week, this individual sitting, the absolute technique, which I'll describe in a moment, will be made public in the last week of June. And so let me describe these 2 videos and what you need to do in terms of receiving these sittings. Eventually, I'll have playlists for group meditation and other things that we can do here. Introductory sittings, as well as an intensive 3 sittings in one day playlist. And I'll describe those in upcoming weeks. And they might be there, this if you're watching this later on in 2023 or 24 or something like that. But in terms of an individual sitting and the difference between an individual sitting and a group sitting is an individual sitting is shorter and much more personal. Both sittings, you're doing the same thing, whether you're doing your personal practice in terms of meditating on your own in the morning preferably. So the first thing that you do when you're taking an individual sitting or a group meditation sitting, a satsang as it's called, which roughly means group meditation, you say the mission prayer, which I have printed here. O Master, thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God in power to bring us up to that stage. If I was to do it again, and I can't edit the video, I would have placed that in the videos themselves. I'm now realizing that mistake. But you can reference it here, and eventually it's something you can memorize. It has 3 simple lines. The Master refers to the Divine Master, certainly in the Gratefullness meditation, because of the current circumstances with Daji collapsing, the current president and master of the system falling. This is a masterless system, and it's a preceptorless system. And so when you're referring to the Master, you're talking about the Divine Master. The difference between talking about the Divine Master and God is the Divine Master is the divinity within you. It's the highest you can reach as a soul-bearing entity. The distinction here is that you can master yourself. That's the self-realization, becoming what your soul wants you to become, your soul's divine manifestation. And that's different than God. God is, in a sense, unattainable. You can be the best version of yourself, right? You can't say, God, you are the real goal of human life, because you can't become God, right? The goal of human life isn't to become God. That is impossible. But you can become the divine version of yourself, which in the Sajmark tradition is the Divine Master, right? Master, thou art the real goal of life. We are yet but slaves of wishes. For most of you who are truthers, you understand this, the idea that our desires and our egotistical pursuits are getting in the way of our divine approach. And the last line, thou art the only God in power to bring us up to that stage, is referring to the active part of the divine master. Whereas God is, I don't want to say passive, but inactive. God just continuously loves, and over a long process of, automatic evolution, eventually we all merge back into the source. But this active process that's given in the Sajmark system is, a catalyst for these higher levels of spiritual attainment. And so this is what the prayer is referring to. And when you say the prayer, it's like throwing a switch and you're able to receive the transmission and cleaning in a more, I don't know, it's like turning it on, right? It's like you're accepting it like some sort of, I don't know how to say it, like terms of, the terms of service before they allow you to have, to download software or activate your software. And so once you say the prayer, you begin meditating on the supposition of divine light in the heart, which is the object of meditation that evolves over time. Personally, it's your personal evolution on the object of your meditation as you become more and more refined. And Babaji gave this as an object of meditation, Babaji, the second master of the Sajmark system, as the supposition of divine light, the abstract idea of God. And on another level, it's a feeling. You're feeling God's love. It's more of a feeling than it is an idea. It isn't a mantra. You don't say it over and over again. You just let your mind rest on this idea. You draw your attention to your heart region, the heart area, and hopefully you'll be able to feel some transmission in the sitting, and you meditate on that. Eventually the thoughts will disappear. If thoughts always will be there. It's not a thoughtless system. You're not doing it wrong if you have thoughts. You treat them like uninvited guests, like, barking dogs or whatever it is in your neighborhood. And you're just allowing them to be there and just not attend to them, right? Uninvited guests is a good way of looking at it. Something where you're not attending to them. You're not, focused on them. You're just ignoring them till they disappear. And you're focusing on your heart area and feeling God's love. And that's the essence of your responsibility. In terms of what you're doing, sit in a comfortable position. And during the sitting, I'm going to say, please begin. Both of the sittings that I give here, all the sittings. And then I'm going to say that's all at the end. In between those two time periods, there's nothing. There's no guided meditation. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to do it with you. I'm not going to explain anything to you. I'm going to say, please begin. You say the prayer, and then you let your mind rest on the idea of divine light in the heart, God's love in the heart, and you just proceed from there. And as Babaji always said, the work teaches you. So meditating teaches you how to meditate. And so it's something where the more you do it, the more you just get a sense of it. And it's a practice, right? It's something that you're practicing, connecting to God. Just like anything else you practice, the more you do it, the longer you do it, the better it gets. And to help with that, there is cleaning of what's called samskaras, which I've talked about in other videos, spiritual grossness, that is mostly in the heart region. And then the transmission is given, this divine energy, utilization of divine energy for the transformation of man, as Babaji called it, pranahuti. We all have pranic energy, our life force, our love energy, and that's what it is. God's love. It's the most subtle, nurturing spiritual energy that exists in the universe. And so, that's what's happening in this sitting. The difference between an individual sitting and a group meditation is the master of the system, or the preceptor, or in this case, me, is transmitting to the person meditating. Now, of course, I've done this sitting in advance, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. But this sitting was recorded in, last week of June, whatever it was. There's a modification to the system that, I hadn't experienced before, because I never gave sittings on the internet back when I was a preceptor in the Sizemore system. And so I would give face-to-face sittings. Someone would come over to my house, or we'd be at a gathering or some other place, and we would sit across from each other about 5 feet apart. And the preceptor, in this case me, would transmit to the Abiasi and would read their condition and see if there was anything that needed to be cleaned, something that, could be a visual object, could be an idea, a feeling of something. And then the preceptor transmits to the Abiasi and then begins the cleaning process. And you might feel some restlessness. You might feel some, if it's anger that's being cleaned, or if it's a some sort of emotional condition, or whatever is being cleaned from your system, you might experience a little of it as it's being cleaned away during the middle part of the sitting. And after, 20 minutes or so, 22 minutes maybe, the cleaning is over and transmission's given. And then you can feel the transmission usually at the end of the sitting. You might feel it throughout. It just depends on your personal experience, but that's the work that's being done. In a group setting, the preceptor, master, whoever it is, transmits to the group and then does a collective cleaning. So it's much more personalized in an individual sitting. And so the cleaning goes faster than when a whole group is being cleaned. It takes about 20 minutes per. Usually it's divided in half between the men and the women, or everyone's cleaned all at once, and it takes more like 40 minutes to clean everybody, and then transmission's given at the end of the group meditation. So it's basically the same process. There is a technique called the absolute sitting, as I called it. There was no name for it, but it was a technique given by Charji, where the preceptor connects the Abiasi, the practitioner, the spiritual aspirant, directly to the source, to the absolute, to the divine absolute. And this idea is held throughout the sitting. It usually produces a samadhi-like effect and a very deep effect. And it's very, I always say, healing on a spiritual level. It helps deepen Abiasi's experiences. And so that's the second sitting. It'll be the third video on this playlist. And you do exactly the same thing. It's just a different technique. Whereas you're connected to the absolute, and whatever happens there, whatever the divine connection does for you, whether there's cleaning, there'll certainly be some cleaning, and there'll be a deeper experience in terms of your, I've always enjoyed giving these sittings, and people have responded well to them. I don't know how many other preceptors use these things, but it was a technique given by Master Charji, and I found it to be very effective. And I would advise against doing that sitting every time, even if you have a better experience with that sitting. It's not for all the time. It's when you're maybe really feeling like you need to connect to God, or special circumstances. The other sitting, in terms of needing a cleaning, if you feel like you need a cleaning, it would be sitting number 1 and the individual sitting video. And if you're feeling more like you want to connect to God, or you're having some, I don't say doubts or whatever it is, or maybe problems with, restlessness or something, and the absolute sitting, you'll just kind of figure it out as time goes on, when to choose which sitting and which one's more effective. The other part is, a few people have already left comments. The sitting has been up for a couple of days on this channel, the first one, and people are saying ads are being run, and that's a real bummer. I don't know what to do about that. I'm not running ads. This channel isn't monetized. You need 10,000 viewers to be monetized. Maybe if I get the channel monetized, I can turn off the ads. If I turn off the ads, probably YouTube won't run any. And so that might be a good thing to do. But I need a lot more subscribers. It's at like 1,200 now, so I need 880 or 8,800. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully over time I can get enough subscribers to make it monetized so I can turn off the ads. So other than that, YouTube is running ads on their own, and you might want to turn the volume down because it could be interruptive. Or the other option is the sittings are about a half hour long. So you could turn off the volume and, um, you know, set a timer or whatever it is, or just meditate until you come out of it yourself. I mean, there's various options. So you don't have to leave the volume on. You just have to realize the sitting, is whatever it starts is about 30 minutes. Both sittings are around 30 minutes, so you can do it that way. You can set a timer for 31 minutes or whatever. So, you do the whole sitting. It's not a problem if you meditate a little bit longer or whatever it is. Or if you go out, you go into a deep state and you come out whenever you come out, right? That's fine. It's just, you just get more absorbed in the sitting. And so whatever way you figure it out until I find a way to turn off the ads and you can, do what works for you. And again, as I say at the end of the videos or the beginning of videos, I'm not sure which, if you want to leave feedback, you can be good if you put the date and maybe the time, at least the date of when you meditated, and just so I have some record of it or whatever it is. And you can talk about how you're experiencing the sittings. What I'm eventually going to do, and I'm not sure right now, this is the idea I have. I'm going to give a sitting once a week because I don't know how this works, right? Like when I did the sitting, I used my Adobe Audition app and my microphone, and I gave it a brief introduction, which you'll hear. And I say, please begin meditation. I turned off my microphone, and I let the Adobe Audition record the sitting, but there's no audio. Like there's no, the microphone was off, so there's no noise or anything like that. And the Audition app doesn't have the ability to record transmission, right? It's not the video itself or the audio that gives the transmission, right? So I don't even understand how it works as opposed to, the sittings I used to give face-to-face. And I don't think I gave very many long-distance sittings. And so, it works, though, like it just does. People have already responded. I felt the sitting coming through me, and then people have already responded to feeling the effects of the sitting, so it definitely works. I don't know how, though. And so it's weird, just a superstition. I left the audio, the audition thing recording also because I would have an accurate time of how long the sitting took. But in the future, like every week, I might give one of these sittings a week. I might, do something where I put a video up every week, or give both these sittings, give an absolute sitting and a individual sitting each week as a, that'll be that week's sitting, even though you're experiencing through the video. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Like I said, I don't know how it works, but it's working. People are reporting it's working, which is a good thing. And so it's an evolutionary process. But right now, if you feel like you need an individual sitting, you can come to this playlist and choose one of the two sittings. And like I said, eventually I want to give the introductory sittings, the 3 introductory sittings, and make a playlist for that. And there was this intensive seminar I went to as a preceptor and also, as a participant, where 3 sittings were given on one day, 3 individual sittings. And I want to do that here because it's intensive and you can get a really deep cleaning. Like if you're going through something stressful, you're going through a difficult time, you can receive these sittings 3 times a day, like once like every 8 hours. So you do one in the morning, one in the mid-afternoon, and one in the evening. And it's really a deep cleaning. It's one of the best experiences I've had in Saj Marg, both receiving the sittings and giving them. And so it was great. And so that was, something I look forward to doing as well. So there'll be multiple playlists with different services that people could access here in terms of the sittings. And, that should be a positive thing. So I guess that's all for now. And you can re-listen to this if you need to. But other than that, just memorize the prayer or write the prayer down or something and be able to say the prayer before the sittings. Eventually you can memorize it. We all do. But I'll put the prayer in the description box of both of the videos. And also I will put the prayer in the description box of the playlist. There's whatever the information that's given on the playlist. And so you'll be able to read it there before taking the sittings. Okay, so that's it for now. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalaughs. And the Ascension, everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.